the Long Island Breakfast Club show. Grab a cup of coffee or hot cocoa. It's the Long Island Breakfast Club show. Grab a cup of Java or espresso. It's the Long Island Breakfast Club show. Tina Valentina is the host, you see. She's as classy as she can be. Grab a cup of coffee or espresso with the Long Island Breakfast Club show. I said rise and shine, get up and go. It's the Long Island Breakfast Club show. Grab a cup of coffee or espresso with the Long Island Breakfast Club show. Another cup of Java or espresso. Another cup of coffee or hot cocoa. It's the Long Island Breakfast Club show. It's the Long Island Breakfast Club show. It's the Long Island Breakfast Club show.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is Thursday, my favorite day, and I'm actually feeling better. Everybody knows that I've been sick. I do have my glasses because my eyes are not quite right, but what do you think? Do they look bad today?
I think your eyes look perfect.
Oh,
you look marvelous, darling, marvelous.
If anybody ever, hears my issues, forget about it. This has been a bad month, but I'm happy to be here. I have a great cast of people today. First, I want to introduce Eileen Gold-Carina. She is from Patient Safety Advocate at Pulse Center for Patient Safety Education and Advocacy. I also have this handsome man in my favorite color, light blue, James Donnelly from Safe Haven Insurance Agency.
Thank you.
Looking quite snazzy, I must say.
Thank you so much. You look marvelous, darling.
And Karen Marie Campbell in her lavender. I love all the jewelry.
I have to say, everybody looks really great today.
Thank you.
Everybody.
And you were my age in place advocacy.
Yes.
So it's very nice to have you all.
Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
First thing we do on this show is we have a toast. Everybody has some wine. And everybody gets a loaf of Italian bread because we believe
Is it
in...
gluten-free?
Yes.
Okay.
We believe
You're a
in
liar.
a family together, and we believe in helping each other. And we break bread.
Yes.
And this one on the corner gets cookies because she got bread last week.
Oh.
There you go.
Salud.
Salud.
Thank you, Susan, for the fancy glasses today.
Oh.
So today is National Raspberry Day with whipped cream. So everybody, if you can, go get some raspberries, get some whipped cream, and eat it with someone you love. And you'll just be celebrating the day. Every day is a national day. You know that. I know that.
Good call.
Yeah. Do you know that?
Yes.
Okay.
Go a
So
lot of
most
different
people in this
angles with that.
business, yeah, I know that. Hey, raspberries could be used for a lot of things. It is one of my favorites, though. It really is. And I want to just start the show off with talking about this great restaurant, anchored down dockside. It's on the water. It's in Seaford, and the owner's name is Jenny, and she's wonderful. And on the weekends, you could sit outside. You're near the water. It's just such a really, really nice restaurant. Fish, steaks, all kinds of everything.
Is that the one in
Desserts.
Seaford?
Yes.
So I love that they used to have another location in Merrick, and I used to go there all
That's
the time.
closed,
That's
right.
closed, and now this was amazing. That was the old Parkside.
Right.
So it's really, they do an amazing job over
And
there.
so she kept the other restaurant.
Yes.
The other one is gone. But we went about 3 weeks ago, and the fish is just absolutely delicious. And it's a nice thing to go on a Sunday morning, Saturday morning. You know, you sit outside, and they're all so sweet there.
Do they do breakfast? They do a brunch there?
No, they
Oh,
don't
okay.
yet. But she's going to be having a big event. I'm going to be helping her with it.
Okay.
Something in September.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
So very, very nice.
You could even access the place by boat if you wanted
Yes,
to.
you can. A
If
lot
you
of
were a
people do.
mariner and you wanted to go by
Yeah,
boat, you can.
You could, it's
Yes.
true. So, but we're here today to talk about patient safety and advocacy. And everybody here is on the board of this lovely lady's company, Pulse. So I'm going to start with you, lovely lady on the corner, Eileen.
And talk about Pulse Center for Patient Safety Education and Advocacy, which is started in 1996 as a support group for survivors of medical injury, because people who talk about their outcomes in care, whether they're good or bad, could help others learn to get through the healthcare system with the best possible outcomes. So that's what we do, and we've been doing this. We're going to be going on our 30th year next year.
Congratulations.
We're a volunteer organization, and our focus is to help people help each other, help families and friends of the patient to get through the healthcare system with the best outcomes.
So, I mean, I don't think everybody knows you exist. I mean, I know you exist, but what about these poor old people that are alone and they need guidance? You know, how do they find out about you? What do they?
Well, through shows like this, we're out there. We're through social media. We do our best to have people find us. Patient advocacy now is a huge. Independent patient advocates is growing tremendously, where you can hire somebody to be your advocate across the country. There's organizations and groups and independent patient advocates that you can hire. Our focus is not to necessarily hire somebody, but to find the friends and family who already want to help and help them help the patient. So our goal is to make everyone a patient advocate. And very often after our programs and training and after people get to know what we do and get support from Pulse, they can easily become a independent patient advocate and get paid for their services.
And that's sort of like getting another job, right? Because can you charge
Absolutely.
for these services to a stranger?
Or a career.
Yeah.
As a, you know, it really is, yes, you can charge. There are patient advocates like Karen, and that is her career, and she lives her life, you know, helping families and patients. So it is definitely.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you're part of this organization, or like a ladder to, or, you know, like a leg to it?
Yes, I'm not only a member, but a board member of Pulse, and I love Pulse because I believe that every family should have a patient advocate.
I do
Amen.
too. I've just recently gone through my own hell, and so has my boyfriend. And if you don't have a squawk box,
That's right.
then you need an advocate, because
That's right.
hospitals, unfortunately, are not the greatest.
And honestly, it's our responsibility to take care of us,
Mhm.
ourselves. We can entrust a medical professional to support us,
Right.
but at the end of the day, we need to do the work on ourselves.
Mhm.
And that's what really supports us as a community, working and navigating through that system.
Mhm. Well, that's very important. So do you have 50 patients that you deal with?
So-
2,
So
10?
in addition to being a patient safety advocate, I own my Age in Place advocate.
Oh,
I believe that aging in place is the first place we should start with our family members. And in order to do that, one needs to create a plan. Oftentimes, families find themselves as advocates accidentally. And it's usually in a situation where all hands are on deck and someone is chosen, not because they said, I raised my hand to do
because
this,
he's around or whatever.
but because this is what the family needs right now.
Yeah.
So at the same time, you have all these emotions running through you. You're listening to a doctor, a medical professional, and you still have the emotional attachment to your loved one. How do you navigate through that and hear what the doctor's saying? And that's why Pulse is so important to our community, because it teaches us to, yes, I am present right now to what's happening to my loved one, but I'm choosing to separate myself at the moment and be in a space where I see this person and I hear this person, meaning not only the patient that I'm advocating for, but a medical profession, so let them know that there's a unity here. I'm going to support you with this patient, and you're going to support this patient understanding. And I'm here to advocate for that person.
Right.
They're still in charge.
Yeah, but sometimes they don't understand what the doctor's talking about, correct?
And that's why Eileen teaches us how to inquire, how to be curious enough to make sure that person understands what's being communicated to them. And she teaches us you just can't just look at someone and they say no. What is their body language telling you? Is there something there that you're seeing that you want to take them aside and say, hey, I noticed when the doctor said this happened, there's something you like to share? And allow them to share with you, because at that point, as an advocate, you're seeking to understand, how can I best support this person under these circumstances until another circumstance arises? How do I build trust? How do I navigate through this while calming them down and making sure everybody is being heard?
Now, it's not always family, it's a stranger sometimes,
That's
right?
correct.
So you could be advocating for a stranger. They don't even know you. Well, they met you somehow, and that advocate is helping. the patient.
Absolutely. And again, this is why Pulse is so important, because Eileen teaches us this. She teaches us what to look for when we walk into a room. She teaches us to ensure that any medical profession coming in, that they're doing the basics, washing their hands, asking the individual, your name is XYZ and you're
Right.
in for XYZ. And so those little steps, believe it or not, are so important in safety in a
Right.
hospital,
Mhm.
because these medical professionals, they're busy, and they're people just like us
Mhm.
that have things going on in their mind, and maybe they're not focused at the moment, and we gently remind them why they get to do what they do, but doing it in a way that protects this person
Right.
and themselves. And that's why I love Pulse.
Well, that's great. How long have you been with the organization?
So I took the first course for me, and my experience was in 2018, and it was awesome. And then when I developed my business, my Aging Place Advocate, I realized the need to reconnect and go over the program again, because there might be some new
News,
things
right? Mhm.
that I don't know. And oh my goodness, I'm so grateful I did that, because what she has created not only empowers us to be able to walk into any facility, but able to network with people like
Right.
James.
Right.
Like when I had an issue with my parents' Medicare,
Mhm.
I called James right away and he was able to help me out. So it's the networking, it's the being empowered to know I'm a phone call away from getting
Find
support.
something or get research or somehow get a hand.
Absolutely.
Well, James I've known for a long time,
Yes.
and he changed. He looks so different now.
Oh, stop
But you're
it. It's
looking
the
good.
same.
You're
What are you-
looking good.
No.
You're still the same person, and I know that.
Karen,
But congratulations
Thank
on that.
You're 100% correct there. You know, for decades, right? We went to the doctor, and our
Yeah.
parents always told us respect the doctor, right?
Yes.
They're the professional. They're the ones who have, got their education,
Yep.
did their residency, put the time in, and we need to trust them, right?
Yes.
So many decades went by without anybody raising a question,
True.
and they just took what the doctor said, for gospel. Really,
Yeah.
so now. We have the courage. We're empowered through Pulse and through our advocacy training through
Yep.
Pulse to stand up for ourselves.
And
to say,
it's
and
a
you know
big
what's?
thing.
It's a
You
huge
need
thing.
to.
I went to a urologist. I drove. He was the best urologist. I went all the way to Manhattan.
Oh,
right?
wow.
And I didn't know it was UN Day, and it was his office was right by the UN, but that's different. So I go and he walks into the room. He didn't wash his hands.
Yeah,
And
that's a
then-
bad thing.
and then he said to me,
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
and then
he's got to take care of something pretty important
and then he
down
said,
there.
and he said, I said, could you do me a favor, Doc? I didn't see you wash your hands when you came in the room. I said, it would make me feel so much more comfortable if I could watch you wash your hands.
What did he say?
He said, no problem, of course.
And notice the language that he used.
He was kind of nice.
I
about
wasn't
it.
accusatory. I didn't
Correct.
say you're not doing your job.
Right.
I just said it would
It
make
would
me
make me
it would make
feel.
me feel so much more comfortable. But I would have never had the guts to
Yeah,
say
not
that
if you didn't see
I
these
didn't meet
right.
Eileen. If you know.
Bingo.
So how I met Eileen and Karen, I met Eileen through a business networking group. I heard all about patient safety and advocacy and, her wonderful journey with Pulse and
Yes.
how her great loss inspired her to
Yes.
create Pulse, right? So all I remember is when my grandparents were ill, was my mother was by their bedside 24 hours a day. It was either my mother or my aunt, and they were advocating. I didn't realize that was
What they were
what they
doing.
were doing.
Right.
They were advocating for my grandparents, for their health, for silly things like whatever it could be, certain blood tests, whatever. And I really didn't appreciate it because I was a little younger. But then when my dad had gone into the hospital for a simple procedure,
And turned ugly.
it turned ugly. So he went in for a pacemaker defibrillator. Out of sheer laziness, and I tell him that all the time, he went to the hospital around the block from his house because it was convenient for him. It wasn't a heart hospital.
That's an oldster
Yes.
thing to
So
do. Old people.
they did the
that's-
pacemaker defibrillator. Supposed to go home that day. They nicked his heart, which is not an uncommon thing. It's not an uncommon thing when they were doing the procedure. However, the pacemaker defibrillator was not working. So now his heart is not strong enough to dissipate the blood around his heart. So now he has major medical issues. The doctor came in and said,
jeez.
I'm so sorry. I'm going away for spring break with my children. he said, I hope everything works out. I swear, I swear.
Oh my gosh.
And my family and I looked at each other like, what? And we didn't leave my father's bedside.
Of
We
course.
really thought he was on his deathbed. He was gray. His blood pressure they couldn't get under control because his heart wasn't working. He had all this fluid build up around his heart. So I realized how important it was to have an advocate. I called it a voice, right?
Well,
I
it
didn't
is.
know it was an advocate.
It's a voice,
And
it's everything.
we
I mean,
stayed by my father's side. We took shifts. We took 8-hour shifts. My mother, my sister, myself. My mother, my sister, myself. I worked, so I went at night, and I took care of my father. But it's amazing the difference in patient care when somebody's standing there.
Oh, absolutely.
It's really, and I have friends that are in the healthcare industry that worked at that hospital, and when you have that somebody sitting there 24 hours a day, you're on your A game.
Oh,
You
yeah.
really are.
That's true.
So it's super important. So I went through Eileen Karina's Pulse's safety advocacy training 2 years ago. That was the first one that I did.
Yep.
2 years ago. It really, I learned so much.
Sure.
It opened my eyes.
can help a lot of people.
I volunteered to be on the board at that point because I realized that it was such a powerful organization and there's such a need for it.
Yes.
Because, a lot of instances people can't hire a private,
Correct.
Right.
a private advocate. So they would reach out to Pulse. They would reach out to Pulse and say, "Hey, could you guide me? Could you help me?
Right.
What do I need to look for?" And that's what we're here for as Pulse board members, is to educate the public about what to do, what to expect,
Right,
simple
to know
things.
what steps
you
to
know.
take while you're
Exactly.
in the hospital. Now, do you get people placed in rehab and all that as well?
Well, I specifically focus on keeping them at home.
Oh, okay.
So, because that's less expensive to
Right.
all of us as
So
a
that's
community.
called the Medicaid something
I
program,
don't
right?
do, no, I'm private pay.
Oh, okay.
So I support you staying at home amongst the things that you love.
And need.
But then I go in and I do an assessment of how can we reimagine this space. For example, there might be stairs and the
Right, to
person
get
at
it
that
safe,
moment
right.
can't get up the stairs. So what do? Downstairs now becomes a bedroom,
Right.
right?
So you help with all
So,
that.
so I walk around, I check everything. Is there a rug that looks like a safety issue? Do they have to walk up those stairs? And so we get to, as a partner, myself and the loved ones, as well as the person, come up with the ideas.
Mhm.
They're empowered to decide what ideas do they want to make them as comfortable in this space as possible.
Okay, so you don't deal with the nursing pools in homes and things like
I
that.
do if I'm going in as an advocate or am I going in as a care coordinator for this family. They hire me to care coordinate
Oh.
with the discharge nurse.
Okay.
So that when they come home, I'm already working with the agency of choice
Mhm.
on what this particular individual's
Right.
needs are, because the home care agencies all are wonderful and they work really hard, but sometimes you don't have a caregiver fit.
Right.
So what I
understand
do is I will train that caregiver for your specific
Wow, that's
need,
terrific.
so that all your needs are being addressed. It might be, for example, you're an introvert, so we can't send you an extrovert as your
Right.
caregiver. It would annoy the heck. You're
She'd
gonna
have a
want to
headache.
fire her.
She'd have a headache.
See, I just learned something new. I didn't realize you were a patient care coordinator. I thought you were just an advocate. So somebody just reached out to me the other day and wanted to know if I could recommend somebody. So I'm going to send them your number now.
Thank
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
terrific,
Yeah,
because
so-
I know when I went through it with, my husband and stuff, I have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
No,
I basically,
get outta here.
it was called Winthrop, they wouldn't help me, and I was not well, I couldn't walk to his room.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had a wheelchair, and I said, could you just push me into the CEO's office? I have an appointment. I had no appointment. They pushed me right in, and I told them what happened, and they gave me a beeper. And every time I went to see my husband, then I had someone to take me up. But I got them to change at Winthrop. They now have a plan for people that are disabled, and kids come down and push them up in the wheelchair.
So see, that's so impactful.
Yes.
That's changing people's lives from something that happens to you.
Right.
And that's why I love Pulse and all the different series and programs that we have at Pulse. I can go on there not being a patient advocate, just signing up through Zoom, registering, taking a class or a workshop, and I get to learn
Exactly.
why that story is impactful, because whoever designed that did not take that into consideration
Exactly.
until you became an advocate for yourself,
Right.
and you were able to articulate and voice the importance of this being examined, looked at, and having a solution.
Sure.
And that's where community comes in.
Definitely.
And you're fortunate. They heard you.
Well,
they
it's
saw
kinda hard
you.
not to listen when I'm mad. I was very upset. You
Of
know,
course,
I
rightfully so.
used to treat people. They would come in and like, I'll buy you lunch. Did you just take me to my husband's room? I'm not kidding. You know, I was like a character. But you know what? I changed that, and you know that's life. But now when I'm the patient, it's different. Because I don't listen to everything, because when you're a patient, you don't hear what the doctor says.
That's correct.
So that's a totally different synopsis,
Yeah.
because you need somebody else.
Right. And someone who is going to listen to you
Right.
as a patient, not, Eileen teaches us not to have your own opinion.
Right, that's hard.
You know,
Oh, yes.
you're not there.
So-
You're not there to have an opinion of. It's the story you told us about the homeless man. You know, and I just like was so touched. In one of our classes, we had that story. And I-
When we did
right.
Monday.
Yeah, and so I was touched by that, seeing and meeting people where they're at, and not having an unconscious bias that prevents you from giving that care, for advocating for that person.
Right, that's great. You have much needed. I mean, the health system is in trouble. Let's just call a spade a spade. Am I right? You're not going to say
So
No,
we can
I
say.
think there's
I'm
I
not
think
saying
it's
you guys are
broken.
great.
I
mean,
think
you know.
the system is broken. I see it every day, and it's not. You know, I was just at the doctor today. You know, I read articles all day long. It is my business, and you see big insurance companies buying up
Yep.
doctors' offices.
Right.
Yep.
You see big insurance companies buying pharmacies. Right.
Right.
That's a problem. That really is a problem. And you know, there's a big federal court case right now in Arkansas, believe it or not, and they're trying to break it up. But everybody's, you know,
gonna happen.
well, you know, Aetna has it, Cigna has it, United Healthcare has it. You know, Optum is United Healthcare.
I
You
know.
know, they either have their own pharmacy, their own doctors now, so they are ultimately in control of their little,
Right.
you know, microsystem. You know, I mean, really, that's what it is.
Well, it is. It's just like a Microsoft.
And
you know
that's
what's happening.
great what you said. So when my parents, who I'm a long distance caregiver to two parents, a Vietnam veteran and a disabled mom. So when they both were in the hospital in July of last year, which you helped me with, and you helped me with, because you said let's all pray for Karen
Yeah.
and her parents, and that touched me so much. And so in doing that, immediately when someone's released, you have a series of calls that are coming in,
Yeah.
and you have to coordinate who the OT is, the speech therapist, occupation. Now imagine that for two.
Plus, the fact is, if they have you to do this for them, you don't have to fight with the girl in the hospital. No, my mother needs this, my mother
Right.
needs that. You have her.
But how many people don't know that? And
Right.
they just
Exactly.
kinda-
That's the point of the
That's
story. They
the
don't
real
know it.
problem. People don't know. You
And
know,
that's why being here on your show, which is wonderful, it's a wonderful space, by the way. It allows us to express and share
get it out there.
the importance of having an advocacy, a patient advocacy,
Right.
safety in someone's home at all times. You identify a family member who's maybe a little eclectic, but very on point with knowledge
Yeah.
and very detail oriented. And maybe you don't want to spend 24 hours with them, but you know if you sent them in the hospital's going to do right by your parent. Identify that person. Go on the Pulse website and register for some of the classes. And next year when we do the online, trust me, you want to be there.
That sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
So now, what about all this other insurance stuff? Medicare, Medicaid. You know, I never understood all the thing about Medicaid. You know, Do you do Medicaid too, or just Medicare?
So I have a health insurance agency. We have a whole Medicare division, Medicare planning division. So we help seniors on Medicare.
Right.
We also do individual health insurance and group health insurance.
Okay.
But yes, we would help somebody get on Medicaid if they didn't have money to pay somebody to do it for them, because it
Okay.
is complicated.
Yeah.
So Medicaid is lower income, for lower income.
Right, I know that.
Medicare is for 65 and older, or
Right.
anybody under 65 that has been on disability for 24 months or more.
Right.
But the system is broken. I truly adore Eileen. I really fell
We
in
have
love
to
with
make
Pulse.
her a crown today.
Yes.
We
You know
adore
what?
Eileen.
I do.
Where's the crown, Susie?
And Pulse is such a powerful organization. And if you go online, right, and there are all those classes, there's all the workshops, the trainings. So it's a really great space to learn.
Yes.
And I like your goal is to have one individual in every household, or in every family at the very least,
Yeah.
be trained to be an
Absolutely.
advocate.
Very
You
true.
know?
And that's why I love what you do, and the name Safe Haven.
That's why I named it. Yeah.
Because
It's
when
like
I
it
had
means
to
what
do,
you do.
when
Yeah.
I had to figure it out, and I called you, you were right there for me.
Of course.
And that made a big difference amongst all the other things I had to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank
Wow.
you.
That's very touching.
Yeah. Listen, I love Karen, and I wish I could say I treated you special. I didn't. I do.
I'm sitting right next to him. He's so caring. He loves her.
I do. I love everybody, but no, I do. I do love Karen. She's great.
But he said he
I
loves
love
Karen. He loves Eileen.
I didn't even get to you. Yet.
Okay.
I didn't even
All
get
right.
to you.
We'll
We
wait.
didn't even.
I'll have
We
a
didn't even
drink
talk
on
about
that.
our past.
I love what you do,
know.
honey. Yeah.
Oh, thank
But I do that for all of my clients,
Yes,
because
you do.
everybody needs a voice, and especially in the healthcare space, everybody needs a voice, because people are making decisions, especially with Medicare.
Yeah.
Right? They say, "Oh no, that's the best plan." How do you know? And I
You
say,
don't.
"Well, my mom's on it. My dad. I mean, look at you. You were overpaying for years, right? Because it was the best plan."
It's like my Optimum.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
No.
I gotta get that fixed
Yeah.
too.
Now it's the water bill.
Yeah, right. But I mean, so people don't know, they don't have a voice. So my main objective is to educate, right? I don't want to sell anybody anything. I'm not a salesman. I'm not a salesman. I want to educate you on the rules, the regulations, what plan options you have, why each plan is good, bad, indifferent, and then I want you to make an empowered decision because you have the knowledge.
Right.
So I mean, Medicare is not cookie cutter.
Nothing
It's
is.
not. I was at the doctor today, and I said, "Hey, could you, what Medicare Advantage plans do you have?" Because I referred you, you're my doctor, to a client because you're amazing. You were in the network, and now you're sending them bills as an out-of-network provider. So what plans do you accept? She's like, "Well, we prefer original Medicare." I said, "I'm sure you do, as everyone else does, but some people don't have the several $100s a month
Right.
to pay for a supplement in the drug plan."
Right.
So I think, you preferring it and what people actually have are two different things. So we work with people on original Medicare and Medicare Advantage plans. There's no right or wrong answer, but for a healthcare provider to say, "We prefer original Medicare," because they're getting paid more.
Well, the first thing
I mean,
when you
that's
call
why.
a doctor, a new doctor, first thing, what's your insurance?
Yeah.
They won't even make the appointment without getting insurance.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So that's kind of sad
And
too.
James, I want to mention how you take your time. Like, he was on the phone as though he didn't have any other clients.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
And he's taking his time, and if you've gone through that experience, you're looking at policies or plans for two people. So he's going back and forth, and I'm like, I don't know how this guy is doing
Well,
it.
he's very smart. He could look at probably 5 plans and say, boom, boom, boom.
No,
take this
it's very different. It is very different because everybody's different. They're doctors, right? They're medications, right? What are the most important doctors to you? Who's the doctor you see once a year? He's important, but if he was out of network, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
No, but you pay more.
Yeah.
Right? Well,
Well, yeah. It depends on the plan that you have. Again, but there's so many different plan options, and you really need to be able to go in and make an educated decision.
Well, that's true. But a lot of people, that I know, they just go with the gut with the guy like you that helps them, and they don't even think about finding out how many docs is there on their own because they're beyond that.
It's funny. Just every day you learn something new, right? So sometimes, so yesterday I sat with this woman. I put all her medication in. And I was going over and I said, wow, the medication cost is really high. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. So I went to Medicare.gov and I ran the medications through Medicare.gov just in case my software had a glitch or something, because it didn't look right. And then as I was typing in the pharmacy, I realized that it was an out-of-network pharmacy. So it wasn't in the network. So now her drug costs, if she went to a CVS, would have been $78 a month. But because she was going to a little mom and pop pharmacy out of network, $738
Yeah,
a
I go to
month.
one of those.
Yeah. So there was a huge difference in it, and I said, "Oh my goodness!" I said, "This is why." And I do it every day, but right away I look at the medication cost, and I'm like, "Wow, why is the medication cost so high?" I didn't scroll down 2 lines to see that the pharmacy had a big X on it, that it was out of network. But these are things that we look for.
Definitely.
So it's very important. It's really important to sit down and review your drug plans. And listen, I help people even if I'm not going to make any money on
Right.
it. I really do. You know, I help people on the New York State marketplace or the federal exchange.
Yeah, the one
for
where you
under
just
65.
according to your income,
Yeah,
right?
it
Yeah.
goes based on income, but a lot of people it's very difficult to navigate.
I
It's
know.
very
I went to the
difficult.
library for that one year, and the guy didn't even speak English.
And I have
You
colleagues
know,
that tell me,
and-
"Why do you do that? You don't get paid for it." I said, "Because I truly believe the more you give,
You're gonna get.
that you're going to get."
Yes.
You know, Zig Ziglar always said, "The more people you help be successful, the more successful
very
ultimately
true.
you're going to become."
Yes.
And honestly, I just love helping people. I love educating people. That's why Eileen and Pulse. I mean, really, it's an amazing
It's a great
organization.
family,
And I
yes.
wave the Pulse banner all the time. I really do. That's why I'm on the board. We do fundraising. We have a big fundraiser coming up in
Yes,
September.
Eileen going to talk about that.
okay. Sorry.
And Eileen, let's talk about your books.
Ooh.
Oh, my book.
Let's talk about
well,
books,
I just wanted,
baby.
I'll share
You're
that.
just like David, I swear to God. Would you get trained by David?
Just about. You know, to become an advocate, I just want to go back to something Karen said, and they're saying is that I did not come up with the training. Everything that we do at Pulse is brainstorming with
Collectively,
experts.
right.
Right. So we had doctors and social workers, and somebody from the New York State Department of Health was involved in the training. So we develop our training based on what the experts say we should know. Now, you go into a doctor's office, they're not going to tell you, I'm supposed to wash my hands, I'm supposed to ask. We're learning it from the people who do this training, and that's
Right.
why we're bringing it back. We're bringing it back to the community because nobody's teaching the community. And that's what we focus on.
And
is that
that's
kind of
very
training.
important in a lot of different subjects.
Right. So that, and even our programs, all our training. So we have up to 3 free programs a month on Zoom that people can come on. One is the patient activation through community conversations, which is PAC, and that's an open discussion. Bring your story and your experience, and let's figure out how we can help each other. And then we do case studies, and then ACEs, which Karen's going to be doing in October, I believe, right?
Ooh.
She'll be doing that. And it's Advocate Collaborative Educational Series, and she'll
That's
be doing
great.
her program then. It's also free for an hour on the last Monday of the month. And then we have People for Patient Safety, which Karen Isaacs, she sponsors, and she speaks on that one and gets a speaker, and then a speaker comes on, and then we ask questions and talk to the speaker. So they're all basically, they intertwine with each other types of programs, and they're all free, and they're all opportunities for people to come on and talk about their experience and learn from each other, and that's how we're getting people educated. Our family-centered patient advocacy, which last 2 years was 2 days at a hotel in Plainview, and then for years we've been doing that since 2006. That's a training, many hours, where we give somebody a certificate for being a
Well,
family-centered
that's very important, because
patient
then they
advocate.
can go and show that
So
to people that
important.
want to
Well,
help.
I don't know who's going to take it seriously. It doesn't really matter that they show a certificate. It's that they
Just the
know
knowledge.
that they've taken it, and now they can come on our website, and we will
Are
host
they
them
allowed
on our
to?
website.
Right,
Yes, we will host them because they took our training. I also want to go back to when we talk about family members who are advocating for each other. Many people will come to me and say, I was screaming at the doctor and I don't understand. I'm there as advocate and I yelled at the doctor. Well, you only get one chance to make a first impression. And once you blow it, it's not a good thing. So we encourage people to either get somebody else to step in who is not emotionally invested in the patient, which might be myself or a friend or family member.
That caused calmer.
As an advocate for my dear friend, and her son was in the hospital, I was forgetting what do we need? What am we forgetting? He's not getting the care he needs. And I called somebody in, we met at the cafeteria, and said, what am I forgetting? Here's what's happening. He's not getting the care, something's missing. He said, you taught us that we're entitled to a family meeting. with all the caregivers who were taking care of the patient. I said, I completely forgot. And I went up, spoke to the nurse manager. The next morning, everybody who was taking care of this young man came together and worked on the care plan. So we do get stupid when we're emotionally
Well,
invested,
yeah,
and it's a
hard.
normal, healthy thing. We just have to recognize it, that we need to reach out, and we want to give the people, or have the people who are trained at being the person who could reach out. You could reach out to them.
So all the subjects of this book, the rants of patient safety advocates, did people contribute, or
No,
this is what you know?
This is since 2010 when I started bedside advocacy, which is what I really love doing, and I just don't do it that much anymore. I try not to. But if somebody called me from, I was going to California, I was going all over the country, I'm going to get surgery and I need you because I really don't have somebody, I would go. And I called it,
Really?
and I put it under training, and I'd be the bedside, and I'd see what works. And there's been so many instances for people, the different groups of people that work, people with disabilities, people Hispanic and non-English speaking people who are transgender, people who are have specific diseases, homeless mothers, all these groups of people that I would be out there to help is on my blog, and I have a very, very extensive
Huge
blog
Mhm.
that somebody pulled out some stories, and we made a book out of it.
That's great.
Because I wanted to preserve the best of it. And each one of the stories, and this one has a lesson. So what is the lesson that we're learning from these experiences? Because they're not all good experiences,
Sure.
including, my story, my history, why I do this, and other people's stories, and I call it the other side of the opioid crisis. People who really need pain medication, and we
Yes.
can't judge people because they're addicted to pain medication.
I
What
know.
I learned by working with people who are addicted to
See
pain
it
medication.
every day.
Do
Yeah.
you blame the doctors for the oxycodone that they give to everybody so freely when they're in pain?
Well, I want to be really careful not to ever use doctors or
Well,
hospitals,
okay. Yeah.
or because they're individual. When I go to medical conferences, the last 20 years I've been going to many medical conferences. I've spoken at medical conferences, and they talk about the system problem. It's not the people, it's the system. Well, then I would get up at the microphone and say, the system is run by people. So let's not blame the system. Let's blame the people who are running the system, the
Yeah.
individual people. And if you're overtired, overworked, shorthanded, then we, the patient, need to know that so we can step up and be better advocates for ourselves and our family. So we can't say that, the whole system is broken. I personally don't like to say that.
Fragmented?
It's
whatever
in
say.
trouble. It's
Yeah.
in trouble. And there's areas that are worse than others. There's hospitals that are worse than others. And there's people that work in those hospitals that might not be that good at their job, just like any other job. But keep in mind that if I'm driving and I change the radio station, I can kill somebody because I wasn't looking.
Right.
Does that make me bad?
No.
Does that make me a bad person? It means a terrible accident. And that's very often what happens in hospitals. They just don't see what we see.
Yeah, that's
they
true.
They don't do what they know they're supposed to be doing because they're cutting corners. I
And there's
see it
less
all
of them
over.
around. The nurses
Yes.
have to do so much paperwork.
Exactly.
It's
And if we're there to help,
difficult. Mhm.
then it's a win-win for everybody.
Yes. Well, everybody's got to collide together
Mhm.
and make things happen.
Did you happen to see that movie on Netflix about Oxy? Did anyone see that movie? And it was like a documentary. And Oxy, they trained all these drug reps to go out and prescribe Oxy for reasons that it really wasn't labeled for. And that's how this whole Oxy epidemic came about. And it was a
Wow,
really
right.
interesting. It was a really interesting documentary. But I saw it. But there are so many people that live in pain and need that
Every day,
medication.
yes.
And yet there is this stigma about them being an addict, where they can't live without it, because how are you going to live and function with pain?
Well, it's very true. It's very true.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know,
And there
then
also,
you-
one of the stories about that also is that people in healthcare are not supposed to allow their patients to be in pain. So if they say that that's the I forgot the term they use, but you're not allowed to let your patient be in pain. You've got to stop them from being in pain. And if they're in
Comfortable.
pain-
They want these
right,
uncomfortable, right.
Is it 0 to 10? What's your pain scale? Well, if it's 10, you're not going to just say, well, get over it.
Right.
You're going to do something for that pain. And if that means giving them medication for that pain, then they have to work on
Now, a
that.
lot of these doctors are overly skeptical now because of the opioid crisis.
Yes.
So, and do you blame them? Because how many doctors have lost their license or done jail time
Well, yeah.
for over prescribing
Yes.
opioids? So everyone's, it's a really bad situation for doctors, for people living in pain. It really is, and there needs to be more education on it. I believe that.
That's true.
And we
Yeah.
gotta
That is
take
very true.
individual cases. We have to look at, and that's why in the book, there's individual case about
Right.
somebody said to me, an elderly man said to me, and I know him well, and he said, he was on a trip and he ran out of his pain medication. He said, Eileen, I wanna make sure that never happens again. What do? I wanna make sure I never, I can't experience that again. So I did all this research on how an elderly man in his 80s can get off pain medication, and I gave him all the rehab, and I had people ready to call and follow up on that. And I went to him with this information. I sat down with him and I said, here's a list of places I'll call with you if you want. He goes, no, I don't want to get off it. I want to make sure I never run out again. I said, son of a gun, it didn't even occur to me. I assumed he wanted to get off the medication. He goes, no, I can't never get off it. He had shingles, and it was on his nerves. It was never going to go away.
Jeez, that's,
So
it happens.
And if you don't mind, we're entering back to school,
Mm-hmm.
right? And one of the things you taught us is if we have college age children that are going to school, what should we do for them?
Well, we have the Take Charge campaign, and Take Charge is 5 steps to safer healthcare, and the first step is get your healthcare proxy.
Oh, yes.
Right, everybody should have that.
Yes, and there's a group of kids who are having a going off to college party. It's on our takecharge.care website, and they're all holding up their healthcare proxies, and a group of 10 kids all filled it out. I love that.
Well, it's true, because they're far
But-
away. I mean,
And they're, well, that came to my knowledge when my son, a few years ago, got in a major car accident across country, and when I tried to call the hospital, they wouldn't talk to me. So now I have his healthcare proxy on me, he has one on him. And he was
But
just over 18.
how many people have them on them? Come on.
Well, we
There
should
we
do
go,
it.
there we
That's
go.
why we're
what
here.
this is
And
about.
this is, as you said, this is what it's about, is educating the public and
On
family
what to
members.
do, right.
Because if I know and I am a responsible person, then I will take that information and apply it to what I need to do.
Right.
How many parents are just not aware, oh yeah, 18, the
Yeah.
government says I can't even interfere with anything.
Yeah.
And a lot of parents have said, when we do these presentations, have said, I'm paying their college bill. What do you mean I can't find out why they're in the hospital? It's not, and we've sat in, I remember sitting in the college with the dean with some parents, and they said, no, just because you're paying their bill, we can't give you that information. That I don't even think they can give them their information on their marks, even when they're paying their bill. So it's that their medical history they should have with them. What are they allergic to medication? Kids end up in the hospital for a lot of different reasons while they're in college. We want to make sure that they're ready to take on themselves and their family history. They're going to be asked their
Right,
family.
which is a lot.
My son he's 30 years old. He had a stroke. He's fine now. But he had a stroke, and the doctors went in. I didn't think of that. The doctors went in and said, family history. And he said, "Oh, my mother had miscarriages." All right, we gotta do some education here. And
Yeah.
now I went back to my parents.
You have
and
a list.
We did a list of all their family history.
Right.
So
Well, when
Sure.
people are really interested in being part of Pulse and talking to you, how do they reach you?
Well, Pulse Center for Patient Safety.org is our website. Check out our website. We now have membership. We're trying to grow our membership. We're building on that. We have, they can, iCarina at Pulse Center for Patient Safety.org. They can get to me there. We have our advocate training coming up in the spring. We do that. But we have our comedy show, September 14th.
That's
at
right,
the
we have a
Brokerage.
flyer for the comedy show.
September 14th at the Brokerage. We hope people will come there and have some fun with us, because this is a doom and gloom subject, so we like to have fun also. Come and get your tickets and meet us, and we'll all be there. We'll be greeting. And then we also, September 6th, we're going to be at the South Nassau Unitarian Universalist Congregation. James will be speaking at 11:30, I think.
11:30?
11:30,
Oh,
he'll be
he's
a
speaking. You
speaker.
can ask questions. Pulse will have a table there. We would love to meet people vending. There'll be vendors there. So we hope to be there. And John Zenner, who's a great friend of ours, is
Oh.
a state planner. He'll be speaking at 10:30.
I actually know him on the phone. I've spoken to him a few
He's
times.
wonderful.
Nice
He's
man.
wonderful. Yes, he
My
gives tons
dentist
of
loves him.
information. I
And
keep
then-
sending him people.
My dentist.
I keep sending people to him, and he gives them so much information that they don't hire him.
Yeah.
So I got upset with him. I said, you could charge people for your time. He goes, no, it's all right, it's fine.
He's a very giving man.
Wonderful,
He is.
wonderful.
And
So-
then you
He's a
have
very
a
good friend.
garage sale coming up,
But
right?
that's the yard sale. That'll
Oh,
be a
that's the
yard
same
sale.
one.
It's a
Okay.
yard sale and vendors. There'll be crystals. There'll be crystals there. There'll be jewelry there. There'll be
Tarot card
speakers.
reading, right?
Your
Oh,
tarot
with
card
the-
reading.
okay,
Yes, it'll be fun.
psychics.
It'll be a fun day.
It's
So-
going to be a lot of fun.
That's
It's
Yeah.
just, it's a community event. It's just, bringing the community together, for education and just for fun. It's going to be a big, yard sale. There's going to be vendors there. There's going to be speakers. So it's really just, it's a community event.
And if you want to get a table through August 10th, then we'll be filling up. It's if you want to bring your own table, it's only $25, and
Which
keep
is
all the
nothing.
money you make.
An
it's
hour.
only $25. For what?
25 an hour.
No,
He's
$25
just
a day.
kidding.
Stop. Don't confuse
You need to
me.
raise your prices.
Yeah,
I
really.
You
Raise
do.
your voice.
I have this, don't
Yes,
I do
you
this
do.
all the time,
All the
right? All the
time.
time. All right.
We want people.
So
who can't
today
afford
only,
it.
it's $25 for the table, all right? The
Tell
rate's
them-
going up
tell them
tomorrow.
Breakfast Club
all right?
sent you, that's all.
The rate's going
And
up.
how do people reach you? You're so busy. You're speaking, you're selling insurance, you're advocating, you're at Pulse.
I don't sell insurance.
Well,
all right?
whatever. It seems
I'm-
like you do.
I'm a consultant. I really,
Okay, a
I
better
don't
way to
sell.
say
I
it.
don't sell products. I really don't. And
You
most
prefer
people
to
are
advance,
salesmen, and I'm
right.
really not. I really just want to educate, my clients. That's really what it's all
He's
about.
got a great team that works.
Yeah,
for
I
him, too.
know. I
Really
know
good
one
team.
of them. His name is Jonathan.
Yes.
I love Jonathan. I can't wait to see him again. Make sure he watches the show
I
today.
will. I definitely will.
I haven't seen him in a while.
But, James Donnelly, you could go on safehaveninsuranceagency.com or you could call 631-608-1137. We have people answer the phones all day. If you wanted to speak with me, you could schedule an appointment right then and there for myself or anybody on my team.
That's great.
Yeah.
But you're a
And
great-
I love you.
Okay,
All
I
right?
love you too.
I love you.
Yes. And how do people reach you at your home where you do this
So
from home?
you can reach me at myagentplaceadvocate.com. You can also go online and set up a free 15-minute consultation so you discuss what it is that you're wanting to achieve, and I will give you my honest opinion on how we can work together to get it done.
That's great, and that's so important when the whole family is ready to rip each other's
Real
hair
quick,
out.
Karen, you have a newsletter, right, that goes out?
Yes.
It's amazing.
What's
It's
the name?
absolutely amazing.
What's the name of the newsletter?
So,
Send me one.
how do people sign up for your newsletter?
So thank you.
You're very
If you
welcome.
go online, on the first homepage, you'll see newsletter, and you click and put your email address, and that's how you'll get the newsletter.
Well,
Thank
that's
you.
great. We're gonna do that.
Pulse has a newsletter too.
I was pivoting. All right. See, I'm getting in trouble here.
Now you're getting in
Yes,
trouble.
Pulse has a newsletter, which is equally as inspiring and important. And how do we subscribe to that newsletter?
Go on the
Elaine?
Pulse
Karina?
website, the front page, and you scroll down, and when you see newsletter, sign up for our newsletter. You want to go on that. And actually, they're both on the Pulse website under the Family-Centered Patient
I don't-
Advocates.
Wait, I think I have a newsletter too.
Oh, do you?
Yes, I
That's
do.
awesome.
How do you get your newsletter?
You go onto my website, you scroll down, and you click subscribe to newsletter.
Well, that's great. In the
Thank you for
meantime,
asking, Eileen.
wanted to mention a very good client of mine, Ed Speck. We have a photo of him, that handsome man. Ed is from Compass Real Estate. If you don't know him, you want to get to know him because he is the most honest and generous man around, and he knows everybody. He talks about so many different things. If you're not ready to sell your house, if you think that your house is not going to sell because of all these problems and issues that's going on, plan for the unexpected. Talk to him anyway, and he has a beautiful newsletter right here. Okay, and he helps answers questions about everything. Probably a good person for you guys to connect with because he talks about healthcare proxies, powers of attorney, trusts and wills. And he joined the Breakfast Club when we first started 16 years ago, still helping us out, and still
Beautiful.
we work together, and it's just, he's a really great man. And you should get to know him, and I am always reaching out to him. He's reaching out to me, and we do a lot of charity together, him and I. So his name is Edward Speck, and he's at Compass. You could always reach him through me. And we have opera night coming up. So we have a slide of opera night. This is one of my clients. Isabella has an opera night. That is if you go to the opera with your loved one.
Ooh.
whatever. If you call Isabella the night before, tomorrow night is opera night in Northport.
Okay.
You can surprise your date, and they will sing the opera that your date loves to your date.
Get out of
It's a
here.
great gift. It's called an REA,
Oh.
and it's coming up. It's tomorrow night in Northport at this beautiful church, and I met them because during the pandemic they lost all their clients. They called me, and now they have a full church. So
Yeah.
again, it's
So
just
great.
about people helping people, and it's a cheap night
And
out.
which is nice because so many people can afford to go
And
to the
it's-
opera, and
right.
yet so many people are scared to pay to go to the opera because they don't know if they're going to like it. A lot of
Yeah.
people, there's this stigma again.
Right.
You know, so it's a really great night to
Yeah, and
experience
they
it.
foster the appreciation
Yeah.
of opera by providing affordable opera
Yeah.
to Long Island, and
love
a lot of people don't know about it. And it's a nice Friday night, and then you go out to eat right
I have
on
a
the
I have a
street
birthday
there.
celebration. Otherwise, I'd be bringing
Yeah.
you know my lover.
Yeah. And there's that new Northport Hotel.
Oh.
I haven't been there yet.
Oh.
It's very, very expensive. But what the heck, you know? So we have a lot of things coming up. I have a slide there of the restaurant, Anchor Down again. You guys have to try it. I'm going there on my birthday Monday. The girls
Oh,
are taking
happy
me, so I'm very happy
birthday.
about that.
Happy birthday.
73 Monday.
I don't
still can't
believe
believe
it.
it.
I don't believe it.
73.
You look
Really.
so good.
Stunning. Marvelous, Stanley.
Ah,
Marvelous.
I can't even believe it. I really can't. But you know, this has been a very, very educating show, and it's funny how these things are so important to seniors because no matter where I am and I meet a senior, they'll say, "Well, what do you know? You know, you used to work there. You know, you worked at the county." I know a lot. I'm like, call me and I'll tell you what you could do. So next week our show might be about the next 2 weeks housing.
Oh.
How somebody that doesn't make a lot of money, that can't afford the house anymore.
And there's so many resources that
And
people
you
don't know
can
about.
live in a beautiful apartment co-op. For it demands on your income. Does it take time? Yes. Does it take knowing
There's
people?
waiting
Yes.
lists, yeah.
But guess what? It happened to me. I live in a beautiful co-op in Valley Stream, and I love it. And my car is parked right outside my front door. If for a person older that doesn't want the house anymore and
Because a lot
doesn't
of
want
people
the
feel
work,
like they're trapped. They feel like
Right.
you know, they're trapped in their home because, you know, let's face it, they can't go anywhere else. They're stuck. They're struggling to pay the bills. They're
Right.
struggling to pay their Medicare, you know,
Yep.
premiums. They're struggling, period, and they feel like they're trapped. But there are other options, which
there
is
is
really
always
great.
other options. So everybody gets a little gift.
Oh, thank
All right, we do
you.
some nice things for our people. Please tell your friends
Oh,
about us.
Absolutely.
Okay, Irene, I forgot which one is yours now because she was here already. All right, well I think it's this one,
I didn't get one of
Oh,
these.
I
and
love
this
that.
is for
Oh, my
your
goodness.
wife.
This
She'll
is
probably
so
like that.
perfect.
But you know, life is hard right now. So what I say to everyone is be positive. Don't let anyone dull your sparkle.
Ooh, that's-
Because
right.
if you wake up smiling and somebody wants to down you out, guess what? Turn around, go the other way.
And Valentina, don't forget to ask for help. People
Yeah,
should
that's something
not
is hard for
forget
people to
ask.
do.
It is, but you know what? There's things that I don't know, and I don't want to be afraid to ask James for help or Karen for help or others for help. I'm not afraid to do it because I want people to ask me if I know something that they don't know.
I think women will ask for help quicker than a man.
That's not true.
No? Well, you're the only man at the table. So.
Well, I am the only man at the table, but I'm not. I was always taught, like, how do you grow and become more successful if you can't ask for help?
Well, I always tell
Really?
people that are looking for a job, go to an event, pay $200, sit at that table. You'll definitely meet someone at that table
But they don't even have
that will
to.
help you.
I mean,
Well, they can become an
they
advocate.
could become an
Yeah.
advocate. They could attend a Pulse workshop. They could, you know, go to a Chamber of Commerce meeting.
Well, that's
you know?
true.
I mean,
That's
there's
very
so many
true.
free resources,
That's
but
true.
people don't know. Nobody really knows about
Yes.
networking.
Well,
you know?
that's
It's like
true. Well, I do.
You know, yeah.
Been doing it forever. Thanks to David Gusson,
Yeah.
who taught me 16
David
years ago
Gusson
when I
is-
went
is a-
crying to his meeting.
Is a very good friend to local business.
And so this
Yeah.
is going to be the crown for Eileen. So just
Oh.
put it over her head.
It's a halo.
There you go. And I want to thank you all for coming. It's that time. Please like and share the show tonight. Tell your buddies about it. This show is PR in your pocket. When they leave here today, it's all on their phone. It's at their fingertips. They're going to have photos for their website. What's better than that? Right?
That's
Who
why you're
used
the,
to
that's
say
why
that?
you're the greatest.
Who used to say
Thank
that?
you.
Somebody,
Yeah.
I
Thank
don't
you
know
so
who.
much, Valentina.
Thanks for
And
having
you know
us.
what?
Thank you for having us.
That's a wrap.
Ooh, very nice.
Come on, ring the bell. Where's
Oh, where's
the
the
bell?
bell?
Thanks. guys. It was a great show. Very informative, smart people. Guess what? Give them a call. You need them? Call me. I can connect you. And that is a wrap.